Oh, wow. Wow, wow, wow. So this is my first time trying out live. This is amazing. I had to download Google Chrome because my Safari wouldn't let me do it. Firefox wouldn't let me do it. So this is amazing. I was encouraged by a friend of mine. I do a lot of Facebook Lives. So I was encouraged to do one specifically on YouTube. And this is awesome. I like this. Here we go. Here we go. I was having some issues with this. Some kind of way I have to figure out how to enable, like, get this, because I took the Bluetooth off. And I'm thinking, okay, maybe that will help it, but I pray that will be the last bling we get, okay? So I want to kind of go over She Was Made book. We're still in chapter 1, part 3 of what we discussed. In the last video, we talked about how Maya basically, she discovered, so we were talking about why me, answering the question why me, and we were talking about how to reach our purpose, looking at Maya's upbringing and discovering how life prepares us for our next challenge. Listen, we're going to go through some mess simply because it comes with the territory. That's just how it is. It comes with the territory. So again, this is the first book that I've written, She Was Made, with having over, I'm not going to say 12 years of experience. I'm just going to say my entire life with women, me, myself personally, being a woman. Let me turn this off. I had to listen to my inspirational music to get me, that's what woosahs me. That's what relaxes me, just basically worshiping. But anyway, so given my experience with women, period, I've come to learn that at the end of the day, although you and I may be different, although our situations and circumstances may be different, we all have similarities as women. We just do. So in part 3, we talked about how life prepares us for our next. And briefly, I just want to briefly kind of go over the 3 I have marked in here. There were 3 things that occurred to Maya, that occurred for Maya. And that's the thing. It's when you think about it, it's all for you. At the end of the day, it's all for you. Nobody else. Our purpose, our calling, whatever you might want to call it, it is given to us specifically for us. And everyone is not going to be able to see it. They just not. Everybody's not going to be able to understand it. They're just not. But do understand that everything that you're going through in life is all happening for a reason. You've got people who are plotting against you and still don't understand, how are you still standing? Like, how are you still here? Wait a minute, because guess what? And let me just say this too. I'm very spiritual. My faith, the book of life, which I refer to the Bible, has been my guide. Okay, has been my guide. I've learned so many principles in that book. And because of it, I bear witness to all, if not most, of what the Bible teaches, or what the book of life teaches. So I have to say this. You got to understand that, no weapon that is being formed against you is going to prosper. Now, some things are going to happen, and they're going to happen in order to shape and mold you for the next. That has to happen. However, when you have people who are coming against you, who are plotting against you, that right there, girlfriend, listen, is not going to prosper. It's not. It just isn't. So let's talk about the different. There's three things that happened in Maya's with Maya. The first situation was that when she reached out to her husband, remember, they're separated. She left her husband. She's staying with her mother. She took the kids, staying with her mother. She could no longer take, whatever was going on between, I want to say, the physical abuse, emotional abuse, the mental abuse. She no longer wanted to be in that anymore. So she took the kids, and they moved with her mom. Now, in this particular situation, Maya wanted to go somewhere. She wanted to go shopping. I think she wanted to go and pick up some things, wanted to go shopping. She reached out to her husband. Husband said, no, I'm not getting the kids. I'm not keeping the kids. And mind you, all of this was done out of spite. And remember, in the last chapter, we talked about what spite was. And spite is nothing but frustration, being petty is all get out, and then also being malicious. That's just what spiteful, out of spite, mean. So with that being said, so he didn't want to keep the kids because he's thinking that he's hurting her, not really understanding and realizing that, dude, you really hurting yourself at the end of the day. You may be. And the reason for him hurting her, we also learned in the chapter later, is that he was doing it because he was hurt by the fact that she left him, that she decided to just throw in the towel, say, forget this relationship. It's unhealthy. It's toxic. There's a lot of dysfunction that's going on. And especially when Maya realized that she was repeating the same cycle as her mom, we have generational curses, generational cycles that we grow up and subconsciously we end up doing the same thing that we saw, knowing that it was wrong at that time. However, as we grow and become adults, some things we can avoid, and there are some things we just can't avoid. We have to go through. Remember, it's a process. This is a life journey that are full of lessons. And those lessons are meant for you to learn in order for you to get to your next, right? So with that being said, Maya, she had to go through this whole thing. So when she realized that she was repeating the same cycle, bear with me, I have a cold too. I have a cold. So when Maya realized that she was repeating the same cycle as what she saw her mom go through, which was a dysfunctional relationship, it wasn't healthy, it was toxic, there was a lot of physical abuse. I mean, if you can imagine, if there's physical abuse, guess what? There's mental, emotional abuse that is happening. And even to the point where I'm not even going to say spiritual abuse, because when we're going through those different types of abuses, we tend to reach out and we tend to pray more. We tend to want to go to church because we're trying to get help. We're trying to figure it out. We're trying to, we're in the stages of hoping that it's going to get better, hoping that, things are going to change around. And let me just make sure I've done everything I needed to do in order to make this relationship work or this marriage work, right? So she leaves. I marked number 1. So we're on page 2. Mind you, we're still in chapter 1. I mean, chapter 1 is deep. It is deep. I mean, if you really take the time out to really read and see, excuse me, it is deep. So here, he didn't want to. So I'm going to talk about these 3 different stages that then took place with Maya that kind of led her in the direction towards the end. So 1, she reaches out to her husband. Hey, can you keep the kids? He's like, no, I'm not keeping them. You should have never left. This is why you shouldn't have left. You should have stayed with me. And then Maya then decides, so Maya go ahead, her and her mom, the boys are asleep. So the boys asleep. She know her kids. Every mother knows their child. You know what your child gonna do. You know what your child is gonna do. It doesn't justify or it doesn't create excuses for neglect. However, in this situation, she really didn't neglect her children. She just, listen, I'm about to run to the store. They sleep. We're going to be quick. Well, she thought that she was going to be quick prior to going. However, when they got there, they stayed there for almost 2 hours. So the quick, okay, we're going to run up there, come right back home, turned into 2 hours. They're trying to get everything that they need, come back home. Number two, they pull up to the house and they see a police car, lights flashing, sitting there. They see a police car, lights flashing, sitting there. What do you think happened? She pulls up. Apparently, she knows this police officer. He knows her. He tells her, hey, Maya, I've been trying to call you. They share the same circle of friends. I'm going to tell you how God works. I'm just going to tell you how God works. How he really, how he allows certain things to happen to wake us up. Just how certain things happen to wake us up. Now, although this is a, you know what? I gotta go grab some Kleenex. I don't know why I didn't have any Kleenex up here, but I'm gonna run through this real quick. We're at 12 minutes so far. So he's like, Maya, listen, I've been trying to call everybody. And everybody that I've called says they don't even have your number. Now, in this particular situation, they also had a, so she was part of a motorcycle club. She was part of a motorcycle club at this time. And everybody had her number. Everybody had her number. And this officer who knew Maya from high school, who knew Maya through being in a motorcycle club, he contacted everyone that he knew that knew Maya. And for some reason, nobody had her number. Nobody. I also want to say that, yeah, that's it. So here it is. You're part of a motorcycle club. Now, I don't know if you're familiar with how motorcycle clubs operate, how they work, but everybody has your number. Everybody has your number. It's the club. It's more than just riding a motorcycle. You have a president, a vice president, a secretary, the treasurer, then you have all the members. You've got their information because guess what? When it's time to show up to an event or when something happens, guess what? Everybody's information is there and we're going to contact them and let them know. So for some reason, nobody had Maya's number, which was so strange for Maya. Like, wait a minute. So the police officer, Obi, tells Maya, listen, I was trying to call you before Job and Family Services showed up. I was trying to get in touch with you so you come on down here. Somebody could be here because what they want to know is if anyone is in the home with the children. Well, Maya said, well, you know what, Obi? No, nobody is at home. I mean, I left them to run to Walmart. Okay. She had left them to go to Walmart. Okay. Well, you know, they on their way. I know my supervisor is going to show up because she's going to be the decision maker. She's going to decide whether to charge you or not. So the first instance, Maya reached out to ex-husband. Hey, can you keep the kids? No. Boom. Maya made a decision. A conscious decision to leave the children at home, run up to Walmart's, come right back. Now, the excuse me, the third. So this is the third. So number 3, the third thing that happened, the supervisor, police officer supervisor shows up, and she's a white police officer, female, Caucasian American. She's got her wedding band on. She's married. She then asks Maya in a nasty, judgmental, come on now. You know that listen, have you ever been asked a question of an opposite race or even in the same race where you are being judged at the same time as if, wait a minute, you coming at me like you've never made a mistake? You coming at me like you've never made a wrong decision? Hold on, wait a minute. So in this situation, the supervisor, police officer supervisor, came at Maya like that. She came at her like, why did you leave your children at home? I would have never done that. Well, first of all, you're married. You're married. I'm married. However, with me being married, oh goodness, I've gotta run. Get some Kleenex. Why did I decide to go live? Hold on. Oh gosh. I don't know why I decided to go live. See, this is why. Although when I do record my videos, I don't edit them. I mean, I was recording them on Zoom and I just upload them. So I should be saying, why did I decide to do this? And I've got all of this going on. Okay. So here it is. She's asking Maya in a judgmental, got an attitude. She's very nasty and rude. Of course, the whole privileged tone of voice was there. And if you could just imagine Maya standing there already messed up. Here it is. She's going through this with her husband. Then on top of that, her children. I mean, they were little. I want to say they were little. And police are there. You mean to tell me Officer Obi wasn't able to get my number from anybody? So if you can imagine how she was already feeling. And then here come this supervisor police officer already looking at her. So Maya's already messed up. She's already mentally gone, emotionally just like all of this is happening at one time. And not really given an opportunity to process it all. And if for years having to go through all of this stuff at one time and not really learning how to process it or really giving herself the opportunity to process certain things, she takes it all in and she's like, okay, what? Now, mind you, in the beginning of the chapter, we talked about how Maya was given adult responsibility at the age of 4. Fast forward, being in this situation, Maya, in her mind, had already made a conscious decision, leaving her children at home, run to the store, come right back. So this supervisor comes to her. You don't know Maya. You don't know where she came from. You don't know where what she just went through, what she's gone through. You just see a woman who left her kids So you already judging her and looking at her like, okay, and she's living in a certain she's living in a neighborhood of poverty, right? So she's already being judged by her socioeconomic, excuse me, status. Oh, you left your kids. I'm telling you, listen, God is good. God is good. I'm just saying. I'm saying it now because I know what's gonna happen in the end. So she asked Maya the question. Why did you leave your kids? What do you mean? Why did I leave my kids? Why do you ask questions that really have no justifications for excuses? It has no room to justify or to create excuses as to why. So Maya said it simple, straight to the point, with integrity. It said, because I wanted to. Why else would she have left the kids? She wanted to leave her kids. Why would anybody do what they do? They do it because they wanted to, not because they had to, not because Maya could have waited. She could have waited the next day to go to the store and took the boys with her. She could have waited, but she chose not to. However, understand that everything happens for a reason. Everything happens for a reason. And all things work together for good for those who have been called according to purpose. Romans chapter 8. I don't have the verse. I just remember it's Romans chapter 8. That all things work together for good for those who love and who are called according to God's purpose or his will. Listen. Everything happens for a reason. We may not understand why while we're going through the storm or right when the storm is about to happen. We don't know why. It's not until we come out of that storm that we understand why, that we're able to tell the story, that we're able to, and you tell the story because it's a form of healing. You're releasing. While you're releasing, you're also helping someone else who may have gone through the same situation or could relate to that situation. So now they're receiving healing from you. So it works like that. It's like, okay, you've taken all this stuff in, now you putting it back out. You see what I mean? It's a harmonious flow. That's how it, and I always say, if there's no harmonious flow, don't go. Because when it's flowing, it's like the water. You move with it. I remember me, excuse me, we took a family vacation. My oldest, he wanted to go to Florida for his birthday. So we went to Fort Lauderdale. We stayed at Fort Lauderdale. We traveled to Hollywood Beach. We traveled to, I forget the other beach. I forget. But during the 4 days that we were there, my oldest, him and his brother got into it. And we were, he just, he walked out of the room, said he was going to the beach. We said, we'll see you there. We get out there to the beach. We didn't see him. And the whole entire time, I'm just like, okay, where did he go? Where did he go? Well, a couple hours later, my oldest pops up. He then tells me how he swam all the way out. I mean, he swam all the way out, so far out. And as he was swimming all the way out, he was that hurt or angry, whatever you want to call that. Whatever he got into with his brother with gave him enough strength to swim all the way out there and then be able to swim all the way back But when he swam all the way out there, he saw two scuba divers. And they were scuba diving, looking at corals and reefs and things like that. And they were shocked that he was able to swim from the beach. When I tell you he swam all the way out, you can't see past it. And they said, "Oh my gosh," he was telling us the communication that was he saying. They said, "Oh my gosh, you swim all the way out here." And they told him, they said, "Listen, when you swim back, because there's going to be a certain current that's coming through. If you feel that current come through," they told him to ride with that current. Just swim along the current because it's going to eventually take you back to shore, take you back to the beach. Oh my goodness. He said, "Mom, I was so scared. I was afraid." And he was able to bring back this coral, this reef, or whatever you call it, but it was a coral reef, some type of plant or whatever that you would find in the ocean. But he said, "Mom, I was so scared. I was so scared. I can't believe I swam all the way out there and I came back." And I'm just, as a mother, I'm like, as much as I wanted to go off on him and be like, I said, "Why?" And I said, "Why would you go all the way out there? Why would you do?" Now, on the outside looking in, it was stupid. It was so stupid. Like, why would you go out there? But on the inside looking out, meaning my oldest, he didn't see anything wrong with it. He didn't see nothing wrong with it. He's going out there. And I hate to say this, but at the end of the day, as a mother, our children have their own journeys. They have their own journeys to live out. And I don't have no control over it as much as I want to have control and make sure that he stays on the main line. Listen, you have no control of when he decides to take a detour off that main line. It is something that's in us that causes us to just do things that other people think is stupid, if that makes sense. You know what I mean? However, it's necessary for us to grow. Isn't that something? So, to go back, remember, if it doesn't flow, don't go. Don't go. But anyway, getting back to Maya. So, I'm just going to read here. The female police supervisor tone reeked of profiling, judgment, and condescension. Her accusatory attitude stung and shocked Maya. In response to the officer's question, Maya squared her shoulders, faced the woman, and said, "Because I wanted to. I have no excuses to justify doing what I did. I left them alone at home because I wanted to leave them in a safe place until I returned." Now, the officer didn't like it. She did not. She was expecting, and this is what I don't understand too. But we're not gonna go there because I gotta stay on top. But here it is. You have a woman who is being completely honest. It's almost like she was looking for, and she didn't like it. It tells you right here that police officer wasn't even expecting Maya to say that. They're so used to people begging and please, please, please. I didn't mean to leave him. I shouldn't have left him. I left him because, I went to Walmart. She wasn't expecting a response of honesty, a response of coming from a place of owning up to the decision that she made, owning up to her part in the decision making, the responsibility. She was looking at Maya like she was irresponsible. Okay, she left her kids. Here we go again. another parent who ain't sugar honey iced tea. Come on now. We know how they think. People are people at the end of the day. But how they think of you, does that mean that's who you are? It just, but anyway. And see, this is why. When you be sitting back and you be like, why me? This is why. This is why. Because your story is going to heal someone else later. But in order for that person to heal, they have to be able to resonate, relate to someone who has gone through it. You can't relate to somebody who's never gone through that. That's just like people who've never been to jail. They decide to go to the jail and try to talk to inmates and try to encourage them. Y'all bear with me. I'm over here doing my nose is like. So, and here it is. They trying to tell these inmates, listen, I don't hear you because you've never been in my shoes. You've never been in jail. You've never been arrested. How dare you come here to the correctional facility and try to tell me how to live my life? All because you made a couple of mistakes that didn't lead you to be arrested or end up in jail. It just don't make any sense. So this is why your story is important. This is why your purpose, understanding and knowing what your purpose is, because it is there to heal, to help someone else come out of their go through, and understanding that, listen, baby girl, listen. The storm that you're going through is only temporary, but guess what's going to happen when you come out of it? And then guess what you're going to learn when you come out of it? This is why it's meant for you to go through it. Come on. Y'all quit playing with me. Okay? Quit playing. This is why. This is why. Excuse me. So the Job and Family Services lady said, that's a bold reply. I'll give you that. And practice, which leads me to believe that this isn't the first time you've done this. Bold or not, your admission leaves me no choice but to file formal charges of child abandonment. You need to call a family member other than your mother to collect your kids. We won't escort you out until that person arrives and takes them away. So they decided to file charges against her. Anyway, here it is, Maya. She's already in the system, juvenile. She'd have been to juvenile detention center. Here it is. She's going through this as an adult, being married. Marriage wasn't, marriage for Maya wasn't what she expected it to be. Although you have a white female police officer that's married, she don't understand. She has no clue. Nothing about Maya resonates with her. In her mind, she probably thinks that, but we got some similarities, honey bun. We do. You may think that you're above me, but listen, at the end of the day, we meet neck to neck, eye to eye. So those are the three things that occurred for Maya. So as you can see how things just played out for her, I'm telling you, it's just. So as we move on, so those are the 3 points I wanted you to understand how it all came about. What had to take place in order for Maya to come out strong in the end, to come out discovering who she was, to come out in a place to where she's like, I got it. So these things have to happen. And likewise, certain things have to happen in your life in order for you to get here. Ask yourself, 5 years ago, did you know what you know today 5 years ago? maybe a year ago, maybe just yesterday. We are constantly learning something new every day. The only difference between just learning and learning and applying, there's two different things. You can learn something. Oh, yeah, wow, that's amazing. And forget about it. Then you have the part where you learn, oh, wow, I didn't know. You know what? Let me try that. Let me try that, experience it. Let me experience that and see what outcome I get. What results am I going to get if I try that? If it worked out for you, I'm going to try that. I'm going to try that and see. That's all it takes is trying it out and seeing. So moving along. Now that we've got those steps out the way, we are walking into now a level of protection. Maya is now walking into a level of protection. Little does she know that there are angels everywhere. That when you've been called, that when you've been giving a calling or you've been given a purpose to fulfill, that as you begin to walk, not even knowing, you still don't even know what it is. You have no idea what's going on. However, life has a way of being able to show you without having to tell you. Shows you without having to tell you. So now, Maya, we're on page 4. At the bottom of the page, the chapter at the bottom, now we're moving into Maya being protected. So here it is. Oh, wait a minute. I've got to blow my nose again. You know what? I'm going to make sure that next time when I got all of this going on, I'm not going to do live. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. That's why they call it live. Oh my goodness. Why me? Right? All right. So we are now moving into Maya being protected, not even knowing that she's being protected. So OB has taken her into custody. He goes over to his people. Now she's in jail. She's got to get checked in and processed and everything. So Maya is sitting over here waiting her turn to get checked, patted. Okay. Obi goes over to the office part, drop off the paperwork. He's letting the people know, hey, listen, do me a favor. She's not a criminal. She's a good person. Make sure you take care of her. Right? As Maya is standing there waiting to be checked, she's standing behind prostitutes. She's standing behind drunks, drug addicts, homeless people being searched, criminals who just got arrested. So she's in the line waiting. And she noticed that this officer, not one time, takes her glove off, puts on a new pair every time a new person comes in. You in jail. The minute you in jail, all your rights is like gone. You have no rights because they say you're guilty until proven innocent. But the minute you get processed into jail, no, they say you're innocent until proven guilty. That's what they say. But really, it's switched the other way around. You are guilty until proven innocent. Because as you're standing in this line behind all of these people who just got checked into the jail, they haven't had their opportunity to plead in front of the court, none of that, your rights are like stripped away from you. Okay? This is totally, and Maya is realizing that going to the juvenile detention center is way different than being in an adult jail. Okay, an adult jail cell. The process is different. The people look different. The employees that work there, they look different. So when it came to be her turn to be searched, she politely and respectfully asked the officer, who happened to be a female officer, can you kindly please change your gloves? So the officer couldn't help it but to kind of have a smirk on her face. But she went ahead and changed. She said, because you asked me, I'm going to go ahead and change them. See, that's what I mean. Like, you've got some people who are cold-hearted, who wouldn't even care. But you got some folk out here who have a heart. They understand. It almost kind of makes me makes me want to cry, because you got some people. Oh goodness, Gail, what you doing, girl? You've got some people who are just outright, I'm not going to say nasty, because it's one thing to be nasty, but it's another thing to come from a place where you just don't understand. People are people. We're all human. We all have a heart. And it's so unfortunate that it has to take someone who's never gone through, no, they've been through some stuff, but for some reason they see somebody else go through it. And it's almost like they've lost complete understanding of what they've been through. And it's like they totally forget what they had to go through. So here it is, you got this woman coming up here asking, can you change your gloves? And the woman, she didn't have to change them, because listen, she in here checking everybody with the same pair of gloves. Maya comes up and asks her, can you change your gloves? And the lady said, I'm going to do it because you asked me to. Not only did she do it because she asked her to, but you also did it because you understand where she's coming from. Because if you were on the other side of if we could just switch places one time, after watching all of these people you done search, who you don't know what's on those gloves, just because it's plastic or latex or whatever, you still accumulate some things, and then you go for person. You don't want those same gloves being touched on you. You just don't. So, goodness. I'll tell you, you just got some people who just don't understand. But and they don't understand until it happens to them. You know, when they're going through it, they want everybody to. But when other people go through it, it's like they completely forget that. Anyway, so we're moving in the protection. So not only did the protection is happening for Maya. Oh goodness. I just got emotional. I just got emotional, boy. People something else. They are something else. So I went ahead and circled judge, because once she got processed into the system, the next day or next morning, you have to stand before the judge and hear whatever judgment that you're going to get. So I circled the word judge because I wanted a little more clarity and understanding about judge. Judge simply means it's the authority. They have the authority. They are the critic. They're the inspector, justice, referee. So they act as the referee. They're the ones that's calling all of the shots. At the end of the day, they're calling all of the shots. I want to talk about protection, because remember, after She went through the third stage. Now she's walking into the midst of protection. But I gotta go take care of this. You know what? I'm so upset that I'm going through all of this with you right now. This is crazy. I will not be doing this again. You know what? By the time I'm done, I'm gonna be looking like Rudolph the Red Nose. I'm gonna be red nose over here. But so I did write down protection. And I also wrote some scriptures down too, because again, I'm faith-based. Of course, we talked about being intentional. Intentional basically means anticipated outcome that is intended or that guides planned action. So being intentional, you're doing it purposely. You're moving with purpose. That's basically what it is. And so I want to kind of talk about for new. Excuse me. So in the midst of us having a calling or being purposed, having a purpose on our life, God knows what the future holds. He just does. And he sees everything in advance, and his will is carried out according to his plans and purposes. So it's not about what we want to do. It becomes what we want to do once we understand what he wants us to do. Because once we understand what he wants us to do, there's surrendering that takes place. There's a level of submissiveness that has to take place. And once you surrender to self, once you become submissive to his plans and purpose for your life, then it becomes what you want to do. And when it becomes what you want to do, you begin to see all of these things begin to open for you. So he knows in advance to see what's ahead. He already knew it. He is the all-knowing one, the all-knowing one. In Psalms, you saw me before I was born. So Psalm chapter 139, verse 16 talks about this. So you saw me before I was born. Every day of my life was recorded in your book. Every moment was laid out. Holy life before a single day has passed. Our lives have already been ordained. And this is why you hear people say that, we have an ordained destiny. Whatever that we're meant to do, it's already been laid out. We just have to discover and uncover exactly what that is in order for us to move. That's it. So that's how you get to that place. And remember, Maya got to a place where she was ready for the next challenge. And whenever you pray for something, oh gosh, something has to take place in order for you to get to that point. You ask for it. That's why people say be careful for what you ask for. Because you really don't know what you're asking for. You really don't know what you're praying for. And so in praying for these things that you think you want comes a great level of responsibility, a great level of obligation, discipline. On top of that, what was I going to say? It's going to come back to me. It's going to come back. It just went in one mind. So, but anyway, so yeah, that's what it is. So he knows our thoughts. So Psalms chapter 139, verse 4 talks about he knows our thoughts and words before we express them. He already know. It's no different than you being a mother, you know your children. It's no different than you being a wife to your husband. You know your husband. It's no different than you being a girlfriend to your boyfriend. You know your boyfriend. You know exactly what he's getting ready to say. You know exactly what he's getting ready to do before he even do it. You know. It's no different. It's no different than, you having a friendship with someone for over 20 something years. You know that person. It's no different. It's the same thing. So you intended, I had to listen. Genesis chapter 50, verse 20. People out here wanted to plot against you. But at the same time, God intended all of it to be for good. He brought me to this position so I could save the lives of many people. That right there, that right there is your purpose. That is purpose. We go through this. Maya had to go through this to eventually reach her purpose later. We're just going through the emotions. I'm showing you how all of this had to occur for Maya. It had to. Although it was bad, although it was malicious, petty, there was some frustration, aggravation. You hear me? Then on top of that, some trauma. All of it had to happen, not only for Maya, but for her kids too. Can you imagine being separated from your mom, who you look up to as your protector, as your everything? This is the woman that is going to protect you, that's going to support you, that's going to advocate for you, that's going to be there for you. And all of a sudden, you can no longer have contact with that. Caused trauma to her children, believe it or not. It caused trauma. So not only was this for Maya, but it was for the boys too. And eventually her children are going to have to take that along with everything else they go through on their journey to get to their point of discovering and uncovering what their purpose is. But purpose is simply being in a position. It's all about the position. You've got to be positioned for this. You got to be positioned to be able to save people, to help people. That's purpose. Once you realize what it is, what exactly that is, so what are you meant to help people with? What is your purpose? We know what purpose is, but what is it exactly? What is your niche? Everyone has their own niche, but at the end of the day, the same goal is the same: to save people, to help people. Listen, Maya. There's a lot of Mayas out here. So we're on page 5, and we are going to end here. Make sure I put a star there so I don't forget about it, because I circled the word judge. We learned what judge was, and she was charged with child abandonment. Excuse me. She was ordered not to have no contact with her children until her trial. But you know how that goes. You go to trial. You don't know what's going to take place while you're at trial. You don't know what the outcome is going to be. So that's interesting. So we're going to find out what happened. She didn't understand what was going on. There's a process. So in the process, so let me just go back. We'll talk. I'm gonna do protection. Talk about protection. Protection is a tutor or guardian, more so a guardian than anything. Having a responsibility, person or property. God is our final refuge and protector. So Maya, just for Obi to go back there, he went out his way to say, hey, listen, she's good people, take care of her. So the church, that's why people go to the church, because it's like a hospital for some people. They see it as a refuge, a place of hope. a place to go to. I need help. Strong for the weak, rich for the poor, parents for children. He protects us from the false teaching, injustice, poverty, and physical harm. This is why no weapons formed against you will prosper, because you're protected. You have guardians. Have you ever just wondered, like, wait a minute, this should have happened to me. Why didn't it? You know what? I should have went through this. Why didn't it? Come on now. You're not out here doing it alone. You're not out here doing it alone. You have your guardians. You have these angels protecting you. Not only that, you got people out here praying for you that don't even know that they're praying for you. And not only that, the more that people plot against you, the more people attack you, the more that you have people coming for you, trust and believe they are helping you get to the top a lot quicker, because that is what is needed in order to shape and mold you, in order to prepare you, in order to position you for that next. So, listen, we are on page 5 in the book. You can order this book on Amazon. Please like and share this video. Make sure you subscribe to my channel. We're going to continue on this journey. Listen, we've got so many parts to this book. It's not even funny. Not even funny. We are in the life of Maya, and recognizing that there are a lot of Mayas. I'm a Maya. I'm a Maya. So this is the book. You want to get it on Amazon. I've got the link and everything that I'm going to post below. But thank you for watching. Thank you for bearing with me while I got all this mess going on. This code. Oh my goodness. It's the code. So yeah, if you know anyone that could be inspired, that can learn, that can just see that this is why everything is happening. This is for you. What is for you is for you. What is not is not. And remember that if there's no harmonious flow, that means don't go. So until next time, I love you, and continue to use what you have today to empower tomorrow.